Hey everyone, it's Dr. Forehand. I am coming to you today on March the 8th, 2019 to talk about our professional learning planning for fiscal year 2020. So it's a great time to start thinking about our professional learning plan so we can have all of the planning done in a timely manner so that you will have the entire months of April and May to really prepare for your courses for next year, since you do have a lot of teaching time that you'll be doing in the month of June. As part of our continuous improvement plan, we are really looking to make our professional learning catalog even stronger than it ever has been before. So we really want to put a lot of thought this year into the courses that we are providing to our stakeholders. So I'm going to pull up on the screen our agenda for this meeting. So basically, you've already received the needs assessment results that we have received from our stakeholders. The data showed that we needed to develop and provide support for educational leaders in CCRPI Closing the Gaps and CCRPI Progress. Continued efforts to support teacher recruitment, to develop and implement course offerings supportive of TEKS Standards 4, 6, and 8, which are differentiated instruction, assessment uses, and academically challenging environment. Continued efforts to provide support for paraprofessional and substitute teacher training, provide greater access to our mental health training offerings, implement focus groups to research specific needs for the reported request for new teacher support, best practices for students with disabilities, behavior and classroom management, best practices in math instruction, culturally responsive practices, best practices in reading instruction, literacy in the content areas such as social studies, science, and even CTAE. Just wanted to share that in addition to the feedback that we received from our in-network systems, I've also spent some time going to some of our systems that send students to us that are not in our system. For example, I visited Clayton County Schools this morning, and I'll be visiting Carroll County Schools next week. And we know that from our registration that these school systems send us a lot of their teachers. So I really wanted to find out exactly what they were looking for as well, so that we can continue to serve them effectively. In thinking about choosing dates for your professional learning opportunities, remember that during the school year, you should be scheduling your classes from 8:30 a.m. until 3:30 p.m. And if you're scheduling classes for the summer, you should look at hours 9 o'clock a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Really take a look at the calendar that I'm going to provide you. You're going to get a printed copy of this calendar. Note that it says draft. It says draft because our board has not approved it yet, but we anticipate the board approving this calendar. So you can go ahead and use this calendar as you are developing your class schedule for the year. But think about the times when teachers most likely would not be able to get permission to miss school, like the first 3 weeks of the school year, Fridays, days in April for testing, and any dates after May the 1st. So you're going to use the RESA calendar to select dates and avoid any date which we already have driving conferences scheduled or student competitions. And you will see all of those already in our calendar that you're going to receive a hard copy of. This hard copy of the calendar should not be shared outside of our staff, as it is not approved at this time. Now, let's take a look at some other things to consider. Let's see. I'm going to move it over to the screen so you can see it along with me. When you are completing your professional learning plan, you are turning this in March, and I'm going to give you the specific timeline. You're going to turn your first draft into me via the Google Classroom on March 27th. It's a little over 2.5 weeks from now. So what you're going to do is take the classes that you already know that you're going to reoffer, and you're going to put those into the document that I'm going to provide for you. And you're going to then think about the new classes that you may offer. So as you're doing that, you're going to think about the attendance and frequency of courses that you taught in the present year. So you're going to look at your trends and think about repeating or expanding those offerings based on the trends that you reviewed this year. Think about curriculum rollouts. In your content area or area of specialty, are there new courses that need to be developed based on a new curriculum? Feel free to talk to me about balancing new offerings with other expectations. Perhaps you're split or grant funded, meaning that you have other responsibilities besides professional learning that you're responsible for. So we can talk for sure about how many classes you should prepare for. For the purpose of this PL plan, I really want you to think about your role as you have it now. Think about planning for next year based on the current role that you have and the current expectations. Think about the endorsements that you may be teaching. Consider the number of face-to-face meetings and number of credit hours to estimate the number of days that you will need to devote to the project. Also, think about the number of days that you'll need to plan for a brand new course to balance your other duties and responsibilities. System and school requests have started to flow in quite frequently this year, and we are going to review the procedures that you should follow if you are contacted by a school system for professional learning. We most commonly receive requests for classroom management, differentiated instruction, culturally responsive teaching, FIP, and the use of assessments. Also this year, we've been requested to bring our professional learning classes into specific school systems who had 20 or more participants, and that has been rather successful this year. So, just as a reminder, when you are approached by an individual school for professional learning on a particular topic, you should inform the person requesting this professional learning of the upcoming classes that we offer here at RESA on that topic. You should explain to them that our mission is to provide PL to our entire region, which doesn't allow us to bring an entire course to an individual school. You could recommend them sending a team or a point person to attend our course, and then after the course, if your schedule permits, you can go follow up with an extension of the topic at a faculty meeting or a PL day, giving yourself an hour to an hour and a half in all to really go over that content with the staff. Of course, if one of our schools is requesting this, that's school improvement or a focus school or a grant sponsored or GLRS work, that does not fall under this protocol. So keep that in mind as well. If you're approached by a school system requesting a course, again, inform them that we have classes here at Griffin RESA on the topic. Explain that our mission is to provide PL to our entire region. And if the district or school would like to register a minimum of 20 participants and they can provide a location, that we can coordinate a satellite of the course and enable educators in the district to attend, and instead of having to travel to Griffin. So keep that in mind, that this is an option, that they should work with me to schedule those events, and I will work with you to make sure you have the time available. Many of you have asked, when I'm planning for my PL plan, how much time should I give myself to plan? So we have some expectations here that have been provided to you before. Just as a reminder, consider your planning time as follows. If you are creating a new class, you can think about 3 hours for every 1 hour of instruction. So if you're planning a full day, 6-hour class, you can give yourself 18 hours of planning. And that comes from a resource, the American Faculty Association, which is linked on this document for you to review. Now, if you are repeating a class, you should only plan 2 hours to prepare for this repeated class, to make copies, to review your notes, to get things ready for that day. If you'll need some copies, folders, or other support, our PL assistants are available to help you as long as you request this support 7 days in advance. If it's copies, you just complete a lime green slip. But if you need more extensive support, such as labels, folders, laminating, cutting out manipulatives, email them and ask them if they have time. I can let you know that we will always try, but we do have peak times, such as drive-in conferences and such, that do take time away, that I do need them working to support those as well. The other links are provided here that kind of shows the data behind why we have put these expectations in place. Now, as you will recall, we talked earlier in the year about innovations and things that we could do to take our professional learning department to the next level. You gave me some really great things to consider and to think about, and I wanted to share those things with you. And thank you for taking the time to share these ideas with me, because I believe many of these ideas will be great in taking us to the next level. Someone shared that they would like to have a D2L based 6 to 8 week 3-module course for leaders seeking to lead literacy initiatives in their building. So I think it's a great idea. Also, someone recommended that we have a literature or a literacy conference, which I think we are going to be able to have. We have that planned. The date's on the calendar. We are looking at addressing struggling readers, using a coaching model where teachers get continuous support in the classroom, helping those struggling readers. So we're looking at ways that we can really drill down to individual interventions to support those teachers. And I know that some of you are working to work on creating a workshop delivery model where we can support that. Another idea was to have interactive workshops for paraprofessionals, such as an interactive read aloud training to show paraprofessionals specific activities they can do in the classroom. Classroom management for K-5 and 6-12 are also offered, but we want to offer those as a 3-part class where struggling teachers can come, learn these new strategies, try them out, and then come back for feedback. This allows us to have time for data collection, and we want to offer this 3 possible times in August, October, November, January, March, April, and then August, January, and June. So some timelines are available to consider there. Another idea was to have new teacher resume and interview training. Let me pull this up so you can see those. New teacher resume and interview training to target upcoming graduates, pre-TAP applicants, and current teachers looking to move to our area. A recommendation for GACE program admissions writing support. We're often asked if there are any supports for others because LFE waivers are issued for this area more than reading and math. So we need to help get our teachers to pass that writing portion of the GACE. Professional learning on restorative practices is another idea. Connection circles to foster cultural diversity and improve student relationships. Cultural pedagogies, sustaining mindsets and valuing assets. We're looking at having a STEAM conference rather than STEM to include music and art teachers as well. And we're looking to have a strong keynote advertised early so that we can really attract and be competitive with other STEM conferences. Assessment in science was a recommendation. After talking to several of our retired teachers, they have a hard time getting their PLUs, and so something to consider is a retired teachers consortia in the fall, winter, and spring to really get our state's retired teachers to come and get some professional learning to keep their certification up to date. Many of them serve as long-term substitutes in our classrooms, and they're very much needed. Finally, as it relates to literacy, some other ideas were understanding dyslexia, Orton Gillingham training, which is a method of breaking the code of the English language, and then endorsements, endorsement-like writing collaboratives. Whereas there is not a writing endorsement, there is a need for educators to be more comfortable teaching writing. It's very scary for many of them. So those are just some of the ideas that were provided to me from each of you. Now let's take a look at the professional learning plan template. Let's see. So this is the professional learning plan template for a sample for you to look at and review. You'll see at the top of the page that I've included the drive-in conference dates for you here, although you'll also receive them in the printed calendar that you're going to receive. As you're typing into this document, please only use Calibri 11 for your fonts. And when you're filling out the description portion, please italicize the descriptions only. This helps us when we are transferring the data from this document over to our actual professional learning catalog. So you'll see that the catalog uses the Calibri font and italics. So it really helps us to put this together. So please help us with that. So if you look here, you're going to put the month of the year, the date for the class, the course title, and your target audience, how many hours the course is, and then you're going to provide a description for the course. And we've matched these pieces of the professional learning catalog or our professional learning plan with the work of Guskey and Killian. So here you're going to consider what will be measured or assessed. What are the takeaways going to be? What follow-up support will be provided? What will appeal to the students and the principal? Keep in mind, many of our participants, or the majority of them, are educators in our member systems. And in order to get the participants to come, we have to show how it's going to be beneficial, not only to the participant, but also to the administrator who signs off on them coming. So I'm going to read to you the description of this course, which is the Culturally Responsive Classroom. It has a target audience for grades K through 12. It's a 6-hour class, and it reads, what is the difference between diversity training and cultural responsiveness? The manner in which we respond to the needs of our diverse learners. In this session, educators will examine how culture impacts all aspects of the classroom: instruction, assessment, communication, and classroom management. Participants will practice culturally responsive classroom practices and examine important ways in which to reach and teach diverse learners. This class supports teachers' professional learning goals and plans to meet Standard 7 of TEKS, as well as contribute to a positive school climate. Instructor will share strategies and resources to implement in the school setting, ensuring a job-embedded professional learning experience that will positively impact school climate and student achievement. So as you are creating your descriptions, even if it's the same course that you have taught for several years, I want to see your description edited and changed to make it more marketable to not only our participants, but also our principals and district leaders. So think about what's going to be measured, what's going to be assessed, what will the takeaways be, and what keywords will administrators be looking for. For example, here, Standard 7 of TEKS, positive school climate, and job embedded are great ways to show why this class is important. Then list, in this category, you're going to list whether this is a repeat course or if it's a new course. Finally, this is where you're going to take the work that you've already done and you're going to put an analysis of the trends. So if you're going to be offering this course again, why? The trends say this. For example, this course has been offered 12 times since 2014. The first 6 sessions and the 11th session filled to maximum capacity. Classes 7, 8, 9, 10, and 12 attracted fewer participants. The October 2nd, 2018 offering attracted 33 participants, indicating there is still a need for this course. Now, how are you going to gather information in this course? What kind of assessment will you have? Feedback is gathered by the end of class survey, tickets out the door in 3, 2, 1. And then this is where you have analyzed your data that you received in the end of class survey. So this person writes, students' feedback class after class shows high rankings in the following areas. My own passion and enthusiasm for the course material are recognized and appreciated. Learning environment is very positive, inclusive, and open discussions are encouraged. Assignment criteria are clearly explained. Due dates for assignments and project are due in a reasonable amount of time. My personal work experience is highly valued and translated into relevant projects and assignments. Class assignments are organized, clear, and meaningful. Feedback I provide to students is very thoughtful and constructive. And this data comes from analyzing the end of class survey that they received. Finally, it lists here that based on the feedback regarding practical project work implemented over time, this person is going to implement more project-based evaluations to this class. Updated articles will be adopted for upcoming classes. So you have an analysis of the data, the trends, how you're going to gather future feedback, and then analysis of what's going to change. Now, for the purposes of your rough draft that will be due March 27th, I want to see the month, the date, the course, the hours, the description, whether it's a new or repeat, and the trends. You can add how the information will be gathered and the analysis of your data moving into this current coming year. For example, if you're offering this class in August, you would immediately look at the trends after the course has been offered and analyze if you're going to continue to offer this class, what are you going to do differently in the future? Does that make sense? So this is feedback that you'll analyze after you have implemented this part of the course. All right, so this is the professional learning plan template that you will use this year. And again, you will use that document along with the draft calendar for the rough draft that will be due to the Google Classroom on March 27th. Just to review the timeline, again, it'll be due March 27th, and I will take those drafts and review them. I'll provide feedback to you by April the 10th. Then you will submit your final draft to me by April 15th. I'll review them again and provide them to Dr. Gordy for her review at that time. So let's just check and see if there's anything else we need to review. So we went over the professional learning plan. Then we've also looked at our trends, reflection, course descriptions, and timeline for submitting proposals. And we looked at the expectations, the protocol for system or school requests for professional learning. And I believe that will conclude this video on the expectations for the professional learning plan for this year. However, while I have you, I'm going to go into the Google Classroom and show you. Let me go there for you. So in the classroom, you'll just go to classwork and you'll be able to see, it's not posted yet, but this video obviously is where you are, and you'll also see the other documents here except for the actual calendar, which I will give you a hard copy of. And you'll upload everything, your rough draft, your final drafts, in the Google Classroom so that we can keep everything together, and I can provide you timely feedback. Thanks for watching. I'm going to do a second video also in the Google Classroom talking about marketing and the importance of marketing your classes so that we fill the seats. See you in the next video.